right, welcome back to the Life Legacy Podcast. Today is an honor. As always, we bring on special guests that are well-rounded leaders that can help you at home upgrade the quality of your life. And today is no different, but I'm also really excited. And so who I'm bringing on today is built some amazing companies in Utah, and I think specializes heavy in being an unreal investor and has gotten in early on a lot of amazing opportunities. But not only is he a giant in what he does, I really value how you give back and you add value to anyone that you can reach, which I feel like when people get to where you're at, it's not a necessity, but I think you do it by choice. Yes. But today I'm honored to bring on Dan Young to the podcast. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, man. Excited.
Yeah.
I want to help how I can. So
right. What Dan's mostly known for, and add anything that if I miss anything, but founder of PC Laptops, which anyone and everyone has heard of if they've ever used a laptop, and is running the Ugly Unicorn Fund. It's a crypto fund, and you've obviously built long-term wealth with real estate as well. But what else do you think people would know you for?
Primarily the hedge funding in computers. We build a lot of computers for gaming as well. We have a company called Xidax, Xidax, and we sell to like Steve Aoki and Mr. Beast and kinds of crazy people. But a lot of people like to play games because, a computer is also used for content creation or doing AI or any of the new jobs that are coming out. Like, you better have a good computer, right?
Yeah.
So the technology is taking a big resurgence now. People need more power than ever.
Yeah. And with your podcast, what do you feel like most people get out of the podcast that you come on? Like, what do you feel like your story helps people with?
That anybody can do it. God gave us a gift. And so if you don't use those gifts, then you're doing a disservice to your creator. So yeah, we have a gift. So I just want to show people maybe how I used it. Maybe they can replicate that and use the gifts they have, because everyone's got a great gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think is one of the main drivers that fires you up? You're at a state where, you for sure could retire and all that, but you're pushing and you're striving for more. What is it that drives you?
You have two ways to have eternity. There's the way that different sorts of religions believe for eternity. And there's different paths that different religions believe to get there. And that's one path, right? And I believe in that path. The second path is living in eternity while mankind is on this planet. And while humans are on this planet, at least the gifts that we have to transfer that knowledge. I feel like it's an obligation of that gift to transfer it to other humans, and they need to pay it forward too. So if they're successful with what they've learned, they need to pay it forward. And what's crazy when I talk about on earth eternity, if you're able to transfer wisdom and knowledge, and people transfer that wisdom and knowledge to others 10,000 years from now, 100,000 years from now, your teaching would have affected generations going forward. So for me, that's kind of a double way to have eternal life in some sort of form in the afterlife, but also in this existence. So it's a couple different plays at that.
That's powerful. I've never heard of that, but essentially, if I understand it properly, all these gifts that have been passed on to you in some shape or form has created a lot of good and opportunities for you, and you want to continue that and lead the legacy to impact more to come. Does that seem to hit?
You just want to better the world. I mean, if you're given a gift, you can't take it with you. It's on lease, right? Yeah. Everything we have is on lease from God. So how we utilize that while we're allowed to, drive the rental, is really the key. If you can make the world better, then you did your part.
So normally this would be a question I'd bring to the end. And guys, I'm excited to get into your story. I was telling him earlier, like, Dan, your story, it sounds like it comes straight out of a movie. Like,
It's pretty weird.
It's beautiful. And so we'll dive into that. But if you could pass on everything that you wanted to pass on, what would be one or two of the main things that you would hope that legacy passes on? You know, like your eternal progression that you achieve. What would you want the people to get out of that?
Really is this. There's, I believe, the main goal in life is, PHJ, peace, happiness, and joy, right? We want that as human beings. And so if you're able to teach people physical, financial, spiritual tools to achieve that outcome, then you've done your part, right? It's just passing on the Jedi way to the next generation. And that's important, though, because most people in life don't make a lot of impact. They're told what to do by the government. They're told what to do by whoever, right? And they drive to work in a box, and they live in a box, and they sleep in a box, and they die and are buried in a box. And a lot of times they could have made a massive impact on the planet, but they didn't take the risk, and they didn't try to transfer that experience to other people. So if they didn't leave this planet making the world a little bit better, then they kind of wasted their time here. At least that's how I feel. It's interesting. So I'm in this big mad execution rush to transfer as much knowledge as I can as quickly as I can.
Love it.
Yeah.
And also his Instagram, he posts some of these longer form videos that helps transfer that education onto anyone that follows and listens to you, which they can find you at
Dan's Millionaire Code, blue check, certified, make sure it's verified and all that.
Yeah.
And I'll never ask you to send me crypto to some weird wallet address. Those are fake dudes in another country sending you a scam account.
So beware.
Yeah. Beware.
Look for the blue check.
And don't send crypto to anybody pretending they're me.
Great. Well, let's dive into your story.
All right.
Tell me a tiny bit of, paint a picture of your childhood.
So my parents were immigrants from China. They escaped communism during World War II, around that era, and they came to the United States of America. Dad was a janitor. Mom worked at a bank as a bank teller. And at first he was cleaning floors and that, right? And then he went to Pasadena Art Center and developed his art skills. And he got recruited to be an executive for Mattel Corporation, toy corporation. And he was in charge of the Barbie doll campaign. So if your sister or you maybe have a Barbie doll in the packaging, most of the packaging he was the designer of.
Oh, that was
he's
your dad.
A toy package designer, yeah.
So how did they escape communism?
Well, there was a lot of war and all this mayhem and stuff, and the U.S. soldiers needed some help with some different things, and so they were trying to recruit locals to kind of for intelligence and helping out. So him and his buddies helped out quite a bit, and so they said, "Hey, thanks for helping us. If you want, you could come to America and give it a shot." So it's funny because his first job was a janitor at General Motors, but he was also working for the U.S. Army as an artist, in designing propaganda pamphlets. So they would drop them out of these airplanes, all over the different countries they were in war with, and they would have artwork of American soldiers are here to help you, So that was his gig. Yeah.
Wow,
pretty cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And what does it mean to you coming from parents that were able to escape something like that to give you, a better opportunity in life?
It was awesome. But, China pre-communist occupation, it was a lot of entrepreneurial opportunity. My uncle had the first Coca-Cola franchise there. But the communist government seized so many businesses and they put him in a prison camp, which was crazy. And so most of the people escaped China that were super highly intelligent because they were entrepreneurs, right? Or they had some big ambitions or they wanted religious freedom. And so that's why, they came to America.
And with your parents, just describe them a little bit. Like, what is your dad like? What are you like? And what have you picked up from them?
He a very caring guy. I never seen him in his whole existence do something maliciously mean to another human, which is very strange because I've done mean things to people. Uh, and my mom was very, very aggressive and just go getter, you know. So he was more of like a nurture, spiritual guy, and my mom was like, she was really into finance and trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
She wasn't really that great at business and stuff, but she was go getter. She was a hard worker. Yeah.
What do you think they instilled in you?
Simply never give up. Right. I mean, if you're of sound mind and body, and they both told me, like, if you can't make it in America and do really well, as long as you're of good sound mind and body, you're just lazy. So go make it happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So take us from your childhood to where you start having some pivotal moments in your life that, like, I believe one of the first big ones, and correct me if I'm wrong, was when you met your mentor.
That goes into Utah.
Into Utah.
Into
Okay.
Utah. So childhood there, as a kid, just a normal kid, right? And then became kind of a delinquent teenager, right? Really loved to party and have fun. And got in big trouble as a teenager, with the law and stuff like that, just doing dumb things. And the first entrepreneurial stint I had was a t-shirt stand in Venice Beach, California. And t-shirts and sunglasses. And so we would have really good looking girls from school. They would want to hang out at the beach with us, right? And get a suntan and, hang out at the beach. And so we set up this card table and we sold these sunglasses to people. And so we'd put these girls in roller skates and like bikinis, and they would roll up to people and go, "Hey, you need sunglasses." And they're like, "How much?" They're like, $5 or $10, or $15 for, 4. And it was crazy because we had days where we were making like $1,000 a day back in the 80s, which was a lot of money.
And how old are you at that point?
14. Yeah. We just wanted to have fun and hang out at the beach and surf, so it was a good way to hang out with girls and go surfing, and we had money to buy everybody food and good times. Yeah.
So you've just been hustling since 14.
Yeah, just selling sunglasses, man. Yeah.
but at scale, and your sales setup sounds amazing.
It was great. I mean, what more could you ask for? It's good quality of life. And then what happened is I, being that rowdy teenager I was, my parents got kind of fed up with that. They're like, "Man, you're too wild." So my sister lived here in Utah. She worked at the University of Utah as an academic advisor. And she's like, "Hey, you should probably move out here with me and, make better friends and stop being so rowdy." I'm like, okay. So I came to Utah, moved in with my sister, lasted a couple months. And then I got my own place and, started to sell different types of things. Got a job on the mall at Radio Shack.
And so you're on your own at what point?
15. Yeah, 15 years old.
Wow.
So I'm working in the mall at Radio Shack, right? And I'm selling electronics, and that's where I meet my first mentor. Old guy comes in, has a broken radio, and it's a ham radio. We can talk to people around the world. And he's like, "Dude, it doesn't turn on." So I changed the fuse in it, and he goes, "Dude, you're a smart kid. You know electronics." I'm like, "Yeah." And he said, "You want to go to lunch?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what do you want to get?" He goes, "I got this great Chinese food. Do you like Chinese food?" I'm like, "What do you think?" So like, I was messing with him. So we go get Chinese food. And he's like, "Yeah, my wife died. I walk around the mall a lot and, kind of lonely. And I just, walk around and talk to people and stuff." And I did sell my company for over $1 billion, tech company. And if you want, I can show you how I did it. And so we go to lunch every week or two. And within a few years, I made $1 million.
When you hear that and you're just randomly going to lunch with this guy and he slowly just lets you see that he's sold that company and you're just this young kid, like what's going through your head? Do you remember any of your thoughts when you were meeting him?
Well, he was just cool. He was a good customer. We were on commission. We had a little spiff when you sell electronics, certain revenue levels, right? So I thought this guy was cool because he'd come buy something every week and send his friends and people that he knows and referrals. So that was cool. But the concepts that he taught me, though, were simple. And I wasn't analyzing them that much. I was just executing. So he was like, hey, there's this company called Microsoft, and it's been around. It's good software. We did some deals with them, and you might want to buy some of their stock. And I'm like, okay. So how do I do that? Well, you got to set up a brokerage account, and this is how you do it. Okay. And there's this other company called Amazon. It's a startup. It's going to be pretty cool, I think. You should buy some of that. Okay.
Do you know the years, like time frame of when this is? Like when
In
is
the early 90s.
early 90s?
Right.
Do you remember stock prices of those companies?
No, but they did well. So
Yeah.
I still have a lot of that. So, yeah.
Dang. Okay, keep going.
So, I mean, that was his schlick. And he said, hey, also, like I walk around the mall because you want to exercise. So you should walk around the mall in your lunch break or something to get some exercise and go do some push-ups or whatever. So I'm like, okay. And then, he just would come in and give me tips every week. And so what I've done is like those tips that he's given me and then I executed, I've kind of canned those same tips, but now on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
And I had the same talk with all the viewers that he had with me. It's just more modernized to today's world, right? And so I'm just paying it forward because he told me, he's like, dude, if I help you with this, if you do really well, maybe you could teach some other people this stuff too, because that's how you could live forever. That's what he said.
That's how you live forever.
Yeah.
Is that where the eternity came from?
Yeah, he said if you can live in someone's mind by teaching them something and they teach other people, that becomes a generational knowledge transfer.
Dang. So what does that mean to you that, for some reason out of everyone, he picked you to train and, like help you develop some of these things? Like what?
I don't think he just picked me out of everybody. I mean, you talk to plenty of people in the mall. It's just I was super helpful, want to help him, and he's a good customer. So
Yeah.
want to make sure he was happy, right? And he would send me, other friends and stuff. So it wasn't some miraculous thing. It was just, oh, hey, dude, and what are you working on? And
Yeah.
this is how you do it. Okay. It wasn't like magical. As it's happening, we make things like if you watch the movies, they make things so like mystical and magical, and life is actually pretty boring. It's just, are you willing to do the boring, grindy stuff consistently? And then you'll get the result. So there's nothing romantic about it or like, oh, entrepreneur this. I mean, we kind of try to make it look that way.
Yeah.
But you're just living your life, man. It's not,
Well, what were some, so you took those, you started implementing them. Like tell us how you started implementing those, because some people, like we're at a time where, there's so many resources out there that it's just like, how resourceful are you and how do you execute on those resources? How were you able to do that?
Well, I was working in the mall, making pretty minimal money, but he's like, dude, eat at home, invest everything you got. Okay. So I do that. What do I invest in? He's like, this, that, this. Okay. I didn't know anything about these companies, right? Just investing into these companies. So I just replicated that. And then I said to him one day, it was about 2-3 years later, I'm like, hey, my wife and I want to get a house. And he's like, okay, this is what you do, bro. You buy a duplex and then you rent out half of it and that covers your mortgage payment, or maybe you have a little extra left. He goes, this is called house hacking. And if you do that, you're going to do really well. So I'm like, okay. So we bought a duplex in Sugar House, did that. And, that's how I got into real estate. But it wasn't like I was some real estate guru. I'm just listening to this guy and he's just drawing out how to do it on a piece of paper. And then the thing is, the knowledge now, all those mentors like this, all that knowledge is free on the internet. So if someone has sound mind and body, if they can't become very wealthy, it's just because they're lazy or undisciplined. Right. Same thing with becoming physically strong, unless you have some disease or something, or spiritually strong. The instruction manual is there, but most people are just too lazy to listen. Just lethargic.
Do you feel like it was like innate in you to be disciplined?
No.
So take me through that journey, like, because that's for sure one of the keys to being successful. Someone that's trying to improve their discipline. Say one of your kids came up and they're like, I'm sick of not following through with what I want to do and what I say I'm going to do. What what would you say to him?
Just schedule it. That's all you do. You got a phone, schedule it.
Okay.
Back then, we gave me a day planner, and I bought a Franklin day planner or something, and I just would schedule out. Okay, do this. Go buy the stock on Tuesday. Go look at this property on the weekends with the real estate agent. Go talk to the title lady and the mortgage person. And I mean, he would just tell me what to do. I just write it down and just do it.
Yeah.
It's super easy. But most people want to think of all these other distractions and things besides what they need to do. And that's why they fail. But it's not the successful people. And you probably have a lot of them on this podcast. They just simply do what they're told.
Yeah. So let's take someone that is in that distraction mindset a little bit and wants to try and focus more and like actually do it. I feel like, of course, the obvious answer is just like cut the bull crap and do it. Like, do what you say. But would there be anything that you would add to that?
Just write down what you want, physically, financially, spiritually. Be as specific as possible. Then when you have the specifics that you want, seek the actions you need to take that's available all over the internet, right? What actions do you need to take? I mean, you have to filter your sources, make sure they're credible sources, and then schedule it on your phone. And just keep your promises to yourself. Do what you say.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That brings up a next question, and then we'll get back to your story a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's so many people out there that have quote unquote done it or, showcase this lavish lifestyle and they'll post the cars, but half of them were actually rented or, and so how do you qualify who you should look up to as a mentor?
Have they been successful for decades? Do they make their living running an actual business, or do they sell training only for a living? Just because they're training selling training doesn't mean they're bad, but if they make their money just off selling and looking really cool on the internet, they're probably making their money just being really cool on the internet and getting you to give them money, right? But if they've operated a business for a significant amount of time, and they understand profit and loss statements, balance sheets, inventory, marketing, actual operations of an actual organization, managing people, managing customer relations, and all those things. If they understand those things and they've been doing it, then they're real. If they don't do all that, they're fake. Simple as that. If they got a new business every week and I got this, and suddenly I'm promoting this and I'm doing that, and they keep switching to the newest, hottest fad, they're fake. Because typically great entrepreneurs have done it for a long time and they've gotten really good at their crafts and have made a lot of mistakes. But they have a track record.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I agree 100% with all of those things. Now let's go to, I think there's a cool moment to when you were like, hey, mentor, I now want to get into real estate. How do I do this? Because my wife and I, we're ready to move into our spot.
Yep.
How'd you meet your wife? How, out of everyone, did you choose her?
Community college. So I was going to Salt Lake Community College. And
do you remember how you met her?
Yeah. It was like a lunch break or something. And her and her friends were just chilling out in the lunch area or something. And I just walked up to her and I'm like, hey, do you know where I can get, I was looking for some school supplies or something. She's like, oh, over there. Yeah, you just go over there. I'm like, cool. I'm like, we have a huge party this weekend. You want to go? And I didn't really have a huge party planned, but we were going to, So she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, let me get your number and let me give you my number. And there we go. And so then her and all her girlfriends showed up to this. They knocked on my apartment door. So me and my roommate Steve were there. And he's like, dude, there's like 20 girls outside. We're like, what? And he's like, did you invite somebody over? And I'm like, well, I invited a bunch of girls over, but I didn't think anyone would show up. And he's like, crap. And so like we went to the fridge, we're busting out all the food and drinks and everything and trying to get everything set up. And we're like, hey, welcome. And
so it's you and your roommate. Now 20 girls are walking in.
So like put on some good music and the apartment was a mess. So we're like, hey, let's just go to the pool. We'll grab some steaks and have a little barbecue. There you go.
Just last second, put it all together. That reminds me. I shared this one other time, but when I was 16, I always hated parties and celebrations if it was for me.
Mm.
And so it was going to be my 16th birthday. And I was like, Mom, I just want to chill with my friends. I don't want any party. Just please no surprises. That's my birthday present that I want. And so I'm having this great day with all my friends, and we're like at the mall, and then I come back home, and then there's a surprise, and there's
Oh,
like
no.
20 people in the house, and I'm like, okay, well, this is happening. Like, thanks for the birthday present, Mom. Just being an ungrateful, dumb teenager. And I was like, hey, well, who'd you invite, Mom? And she's like, well, I told your two friends to just invite whoever and everyone. I was like, oh, you don't know what you just did. And so I'm like, all right, well, what are we gonna do? And she's like, well, I have a couple pizzas and we can play apples to apples. And I'm like, there's 20 people right now and there's a lot more coming. I know how this happens and works. And so I'm like calling all my friends. I'm like, hey, we need to get music. We need to do all these things. And 30 minutes later, there's 120 people at my house. And I'm
Nice party.
yeah, it was really nice. And now it's like I'm grateful that all those people wanted to come celebrate or just have fun, and that happened to be the instrument to do it. But at the time, I was like, this is not what I want today.
Yeah.
And so I went out front and I was like, this isn't it. Like, I just want to be with a couple of my friends. So I got on my phone, typed in 911. I called 911 and I'm like, hey, my neighbor's having this giant party. You got to come shut it down. And so that was that was the time I just shut down
Well, that sucks.
my own birthday party.
That's crazy. You knocked out yourself.
I did.
Don't do that.
Yeah. There's more to that story, but it's just funny how, yeah, when you were saying that story, it's like, I remember those 2 minutes to set up a giant party. And then I was like, I'm done. But I think now there's so much hard in life that when we have the opportunity to celebrate something, I think it's quite valuable to do that for other people and let everyone enjoy fun, great opportunities and circumstances in life.
Yeah.
And because a lot of people are going through hard things, and there's a lot of quotes around, whoever, if you walked into a group of 100 people, half of them, if you approach them, like 50% of them are going through some of their hardest trials they've ever gone through. More than likely, you will be more accurate than not on that. And so with that being said, what would have been some of the hard pivotal moments that you had to experience in your life that have really changed who you are?
Really, I'm trying to think the hardest things. Well, getting in trouble as a teenager was tough, but that was self-inflicted pain, like most things are, right? So I had to deal with that. And then starting my own business was a tough one, just because I sold at this place called Silo, which is like a Best Buy after Radio Shack. Came like the top guy out of 4,000 salespeople. And then they went out of business. And so I was debating whether to go work at RC Willey selling furniture or electronics or something. A lot of my friends went there. Or starting my own deal. So I ended up starting my own deal. And what I did, though, is I asked my manager if I could have the database. So I cold called over like 10 years, 20,000 people. It was crazy. And I'd be like, hey, you got a computer? If you need some help, well, I'll turn it up for free. And that's how we built PC Laptops, by adopting all these customers.
Bringing them over.
Yeah. So that was hard. I mean, it's just work,
Just direct grind of nonstop. So how many calls do you think you're doing a day?
Oh, it depends on the day, few an hour. I mean, if you didn't get in touch with people, you could call 20 and not reach anybody, But if you talk to them, usually you're talking for 10, 15, 20 minutes or something. So as soon as you get a hook, then you find out what their problems are, try to solve them, make a friend,
Yeah.
And then they're good.
So with building your company, what were some of the hardest experiences that you had to go through with PC Laptops?
The hardest is employees. Humans are the most difficult factor in running a company, because they always have things happening in life, and life pivots, and they have emotional issues and all those things. So managing humans and recruiting and managing humans is the toughest thing. Period of the story. Everything else is actually really easy.
Really?
In comparison.
So with let's take someone who's starting a company and they're excelling in their sales and everything, and it's like, okay, we need to bring on some people. What are some key pieces of advice that you found really helpful for you when hiring, firing, and most importantly, like retaining your people? What has helped you?
You want to look for energy, intelligence. I think it is very important. They have to look at an integrity. If they're missing any of those things, then they're usually not going to work out long term. So you want to have those things. Another thing, though, what I like to do when I sit down with new hires, I ask them what they want in life, physically, financially, spiritually, and we write them down. Because as an employer, your job is to try to help them achieve what they want in life. If you just treat them like a robot or something, or a piece of meat or something, then they're not going to stick around. But if they know that you really care and you're kind of like, I like to mentor employees and help them achieve personal goals, however I can support them, then they tend to stick around. We have employees that have been with me like 18 years, plus, like a long time, just because it's really sticky. What I mean sticky is retention. They stick if they know you really care about them and they end up caring about you and what we're building and those things. So that's critical.
Yeah. Do you have any, so like, for example, some of that mentoring that you were able to do you have any favorite like success stories that was meaningful to you with some of your employees where they have been able to achieve what they wanted in life?
Yeah, I've had a lot of employees become millionaires just working with me, and the big one, and one of them is an employee named Andrew. He manages our Layton store. He's cool. You should go say hi to him if you're in Utah. So we were having a sales meeting like in 2014. And this is when I built the biggest Bitcoin mining facility in Utah. And I said, hey, for you guys here, like Bitcoins are $350 each right now. You guys are making good money. You should buy some. And I think like 5 or 6 of my employees out of like 60 of them actually did buy a bunch of Bitcoins, and Andrew is one of them. And we were just talking the other day, went to lunch, and he's like, dude, I made so much money on this. It's crazy, dude. And I go, why do you work for me? Now that, like, I don't know, you're a millionaire or whatever. And he goes, well, because I want to know what you're buying next. And he goes, no, I just appreciate it. I appreciate the job. I appreciate the mentorship. And he asked me, how can I repay you? And I says, well, when we hire new people, we like big brother them and help them out and show them that it's possible. And he's like, absolutely, dude. And he knows he doesn't just do it to help me, and he doesn't do it just to help them, because it sharpens his sword by training, by giving. It makes you better at whatever you're doing. So,
tell me about that a little bit.
By training, if you're teaching people whatever skills that you have and you're good at it, it makes you better at those skills, because you have to live up to what you're teaching, right? And I don't always live up perfectly to what I'm teaching, but you strive to, because you don't want to be hypocritical, right? So it's real important to be giving, because that makes you hold to the standard you're preaching.
I like that.
Yeah.
So with you just tapped into like a next part of your journey a little bit with the Bitcoin mining. Tell us how that got started. How did this become the largest Bitcoin mining facility in Utah?
Yeah.
In like 2014, right?
Yeah. So video cards that go into computers, sometimes there's shortages, So we bought a huge amount, more than we should have, because we thought the prices were going to go way high. When there's a shortage, sometimes they're selling for like 50% more than retail, right? So we're like, let's buy a bunch. So we bought a bunch, and then supply became too easy. There was an oversupply. So we were going to lose a bunch of money. And so I was helping a professor at the U who was building a Bitcoin mining lab just to like for computer science test. And he's like, here's a USB key. And on this key is a code that will find the cheapest crypto to mine for the lowest amount of electricity. And you can use it if you want. In fact, if you find out how we can make it better, let me know and we'll upgrade our lab. I'm like, cool. So I hooked up 4,000 miners, right? And we were mining Bitcoins, and they were cheap, $350, man. So we were just printing Bitcoins, right?
Yeah.
So it was like kind of a mistake, but turned out okay.
Well, you've stayed in that world a ton.
Yeah.
We got to get into crypto. I'm like,
You have to, dude.
I'm excited about it right now.
You don't want to miss it, man. That'd be like missing the internet.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Well, I mean, the internet, I remember in 92, I was speaking in Las Vegas at Comdex to a bunch of people trying to convince them the internet was going to be cool. And people were like, it's a scam. The internet's where fraud happens. Like, never put your credit card on the internet. I'm like, all right, bro. And the internet became cool, right? Well, that's the same thing right now with blockchain. Only 6.8% of the people in the world own crypto, which is so small. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's a scam. It's horrible. But it's like you have BlackRock, Fidelity, the U.S. government, holds a bunch of crypto.
Yeah.
It's becoming mainstream now, right?
So if you took crypto and you went to talk to a bunch of 7th graders on what is crypto, what is blockchain, like how would you, in a simple format, be able to explain it?
Crypto is just software. That's all it is. All different types of crypto tokens are software. They're just programs, right? And programs that make the world better are ones you want to buy. Now, ones that have a dog on it or whatever, and they're just cool. I mean, maybe they have collectible value because they're fun or whatever, but if they actually functionally do something in real life, whether it's AI, medical, any sort of banking, speeding of wire transfers, anything, if it actually does something as good software, then it might be something you want to consider.
Yeah.
And that's what we look for in the fund, right? Is stuff that does something.
Okay.
Good software.
So real effective software.
That's all you're looking for. Yeah. That's all we're looking for.
So now let's talk about bull runs and like how a crypto market flows. Talk me through that.
So every 4 years, there's a thing called the Bitcoin halving. It's happened now over a year ago. That's where mining Bitcoin becomes twice as hard. That creates scarcity. Mining Bitcoin is kind of like merchant credit card processing. So all these miners process all the Bitcoin transactions, right? When I send you Bitcoin or you send me Bitcoin, someone's got to process that. That's miners, right?
Yeah.
So that becomes twice as difficult every 4 years. Typically, within a year or so of that time, there's a bull run. And that's where we're sitting in right now. Probably, this is 2025 into August. So we're probably looking at feeling a juicy bull run here in Q4, hopefully. If things follow, they did the last, 4 cycles.
Yeah.
It's about that time.
Yeah. And so in those last 4 cycles, it's insane. The percentages, the value of the cap of whatever the coin is just skyrockets. And then it has some deep falls.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious, and you talk about it a little bit, but how does it what are the patterns to look for?
Well, there's 4 stages. Bitcoin rises first, Ethereum second.
So we've now had the Bitcoin rise.
And Ethereum started to rise a little.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to see other alts, right? Other projects that are large. Then you'll see mid and small projects last. So on a 1 to 4 scale, as of today, we're like 1.7.
1.7
out of 4
of where we're at in the
1 to 4 scale.
And then help people understand the difference, because I think people have heard Bitcoin, Ethereum, and what I want to do with the audience is like take them from a simple level and get it a little bit, just a deeper education on it.
Sure.
So people understand Bitcoin and Ethereum somewhat, but I feel like altcoins, mid caps, small caps, a lot of people don't get it. Like they
don't get it, but just like they don't get mid and small cap stocks.
Yeah.
So unless that's what you do for a living, you're probably going to get cooked.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't invest in ultra small caps or if you don't know what you're doing, right?
So to that point, I think the numbers are right around like 95% of people investing in crypto will end up losing. Is that around?
Most people lose.
Yeah.
Just like most day traders lose with stocks too.
Yeah.
You lose.
So you run your fund, and so why would it be more effective to have someone, instead of doing it all on their own, if they have some capital put aside to invest, versus with your fund?
Well, we manage mid and small cap primarily. We have some alts as well, larger cap alts, and a little bit of Bitcoin and Ethereum. But we have now over 25 positions. And so we do the research and the diligence on if that's good software. Does it have good functionality, right? That's the big one for people. And most people just don't have all the time they're doing whatever they're doing. They're running their business or doing their job. And so they have it professionally managed, right? And that's what we do. But it's kind of like anything. It's like you could build your own house, or you could hire someone to build it for you. You could build your own car, or you could just buy a car. People do that because their time value.
Yeah.
Right.
And then are you holding on to these throughout the whole time? Because, what, I guess a good question that I feel like would be important is how do you invest like into crypto? Like say if people don't do your fund and they want to grow a portfolio, what would you say to them? Like,
go to Coinbase, open up a Coinbase account, turn on all the correct security protocols that they have checkboxes you can do. Okay. Probably don't have time to go into that right now, but that's where you go. You can buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, and tons of other tokens on there, and just dollar cost average into ones that you have conviction on. If you don't know anything about crypto, you probably want to stick to like the big stuff, right? And just buy every month, treat it like a bill.
Yeah.
And then there you go. Not financial advice, but treat it like a bill. And if you're having anxiety, you've bought too much, so, buy what you're willing. You'd be okay if it dropped 80, 90%. Be okay with that.
So then to help people not lose in crypto, what do you feel like are the main mistakes that people are making?
They just buy crap coins. And they're trying to like, oh, my brother-in-law told me about this coin at church, and he said it was really good. And it's like, all right, he's broke. He's your brother-in-law. Someone told him, and then it's probably some scam token or something. So just I would stick with super large cap. If you're just a beginner.
Yeah,
safer.
What are five coins that you are really excited about?
Well, Bitcoin's obviously cool because large institutional adoption. Ethereum is what things are built on, right? I can't give token recommendations as a hedge fund manager, but those are the two big projects that are the big staples, right? Gold, silver.
Yeah.
With that, but there's so many cool projects out there. But again, I can't give financial advice. So.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm curious your thoughts on, like, are you able to talk about your predictions?
Yeah.
So, prediction of this bull run. What are some of the money amounts? Like, where will they be at? Do you think in Q4 of 2025?
Bitcoin probably like 150 to 175. It could hit that end of the year Q1, possibly in that range. Now, if there's even more institutional adoption, if that velocity goes up, or if the government figures out a way to actually buy it, right, then you're going to see a mad race, But I think within 10 years, you'll see $1 million Bitcoin. If you give it a decade. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Could be wrong, but,
Okay. And then Ethereum?
Ethereum will probably go 6,000-7,000 this cycle.
Yeah.
Again, if institutional adoption really starts driving, you may see 12 to 16,000.
Who are some investors that you look up to?
Old Warren Buffett's smart guy for old school and just discipline. Him and Charlie Munger, they're really great. As far as a lot of the guys who are running companies that are great investors too, which are interesting, is if you look at what Zuck has invested in, and you've looked at what Elon's invested in, and what Jeff Bezos, those guys are pretty good at what they do, right? But most of those guys invest a lot in their own companies, or companies are buying as well. But your little antenna have to go up. If you see people with billions of dollars deploying into a certain thing that they believe has a good future, then that's something you may want to consider. Or you can just bet on the jockey, not the horse. And so Jeff Bezos, Amazon, Elon, Tesla, right? And then Zuck, Meta, right? Facebook. So those have all been pretty good stocks through the years.
How does a person find what those types of people are investing in?
Google.
Google's a good one.
Yeah. But I would just buy their companies. I mean, myself is what I would do. Now, you can do what you want, not financial advice, but I, if you think those guys are smart dudes, then why not maybe consider getting a little bit maybe what they're doing.
Nice.
Yeah.
So with all your success, all the ups and downs of everything, what has, God or spiritual world played into Dan Young?
Well, I believe that God has given us all that we need inside of us. It's in our DNA, right? It's and people, different religions have different beliefs, but say we're children of God or whatnot, right? But his DNA is in all of us, right? So everything you need is actually inside your mind right now, already wired. You just have to conjure and execute on that, right? So when you're praying, some people believe that God's answering from a separate location, but if he's already inside of our spirit, he's within us. Maybe we're pulling it out of our subconscious because it's all the knowledge of all that we need to know is already in us. Now, people have different interpretations of that. But whatever you do believe, the big thing is realize that everything we have, I believe, is on lease from our Creator. And so it's your job to maximize how you benefit the world in a good way, right? While you're here. I mean, that's your obligation. Otherwise, you're wasting it. You're wasting your talents. You heard about the 3 servants and the talents, right? Yeah. One guy buries it, comes back, and it's like same. One guy doubles it. One guy makes it really huge, right? And the guy who makes it really big and grew things is rewarded. So I think that applies to life, right?
Do you have any pivotal spiritual moments that were really impactful for you?
Daily. I mean, if you wake up in the morning, you're alive. You're given one more day of rent.
Yeah. I think that cores back to just gratitude. And I feel like it's a step that everyone, like the paradigm shift around gratitude and how important it is so crucial. Mm-hmm. And because with every circumstance, you can look at it as an opportunity for growth or even a hardship. And, this goes with trials too, but it's perspective and being grateful for the great things in your life, quote unquote, great things, and the hard things, which also, quote unquote, for me, are great things. Like the harder things you go through, that's going to help you.
Without pain, there is no pleasure in life.
Yeah.
So you need pain.
Yeah. Well, Dan, is there anything you feel like you would want to tell our listeners that would benefit their life?
I would say get really clear and immediately write down your financial, your physical, and your spiritual goals. Be very specific. Don't just say, I want to be richer or buffer. If you're talking about physical health, get down to the weight, the body fat, the metrics, your HRV, whatever it needs to be, right? Get very specific. And then you can use ChatGPT or Google and ask, how do I improve that area to get to that goal? And then write down a plan, schedule it on your phone, and live to it. Whether it's finance, spiritual, it doesn't matter. It's the same formula, to be able to do that. But here's the crazy thing. Most people, they get real excited about something like that. They just won't continue to do it. But the sad truth is 1% of the people in the world control 99% of the world because they're willing to use just 1% more of their brain and execute 1% harder. That's it.
It's powerful.
It's true, right?
Yeah. And our goal here is to help people get to that 1%. And so you feel like those are, putting those you have to have that vision, have to have the discipline, and then put some metrics behind and
as long as you're making progress, man. Do one thing a day to move towards your physical, financial, and spiritual. Just one thing. Yeah. If it's like, okay, I'm gonna do 20 push-ups when I wake up. That's my exercise. Okay, that's how you get started. I'm gonna go walk my dog for 30 minutes 3 times a week. Yeah. It's not that hard to do. But most people are super lazy and they just won't do that for themselves. They make every reason not to do it. So you almost just have to not think about it or overanalyze. Don't get analysis paralysis and just go for it.
Yeah.
Just do it. And then, and your brain will become conditioned, because when you start getting momentum, you start, okay, wait a second, I invested a little bit, I made a little bit. Well, maybe I should look into this more, right? Or I exercise and I feel better, right? Then you move forward with that. Yeah. But you're not gonna. Here's the thing: when someone watches a podcast like this, probably 1/10 of 1% of people will actually do anything. That's the sad truth. But I hope that you watching, listening to this right now, or that 1/10 of 1% that actually do it, because you can do anything if you want. It's all right there.
And imagine your kids right now. If you could help them create the life that they want, what's the couple pieces of advice that you would want to showcase with them, that you would want to tell them? If this was, let's say this is your last day, and you're going to die tomorrow.
Yeah.
What are you telling your kids? What's the video that you would be posting on Instagram?
The man or woman with the least amount of excuses wins. Again, write down your goals, execute that on them consistently, and live with, integrity, energy, and intelligence, and just be relentless in your execution. And the one who does the most wins. But you have to do.
Yeah.
You have to take action. Because just like I believe college is a complete waste of time for most people, not all people. If you got to be a doctor or something, great. But for most people, it's a waste of time, because these people come out with all these giant degrees typically, and they build nothing and they do nothing. And they're so smart, but then a dumb guy can just execute consistently and he wins. So it's like, it's all about the execution. In fact, the knowledge is all free. It's an equal playing ground with most knowledge right now. There's no secrets that they teach you in school now. In fact, there's things they teach you on the internet that they don't teach you in school. Right? I get people all day, oh man, they didn't teach me that in college. On your Instagram page, you taught me this. I'm like, yeah, of course not. Because how can somebody who's making less money than you, who's a professor, teach you to make more money than him? That doesn't make sense. That's like a fat dietitian. I'm 800 pounds and I'm going to teach you how to be ripped. It's like, what? It's not happening, right? I hate to be so blunt about it, but it's just it's so true.
I think people need to hear more straightforward reality. And I feel like we've got that today on the podcast of like, look, bluntly, you have to have a vision and you have to have a plan of how you execute, and then you have to execute it. And that's when the results come, after going up and down and, learning through the process.
Dude, I got this message from this guy last night. Hey, I want to come work for you, but I can't work full time because I'm going to BYU. I'm like, oh yeah, what are you studying? And some useless degree, right? And I go, that sounds like a pretty useless degree. I'm like, what do you want? He goes, well, I want to be wealthy. I'm like, well, that degree, find out what the median person who graduates in that department makes a year. Is that wealthy? And he's like, oh, are you saying I should drop out? Because I really, he writes this big, 10 paragraphs and how, he's always wanted a degree and whatever. I'm like, dude, I got a graduate degree from Stanford because I wrote him a check to put my name on a building. Like, you can get degrees, you just write a freaking check. People really respect those that have actually built something, not on paper, but in the real world. And so I said, so what do you want to do? He goes, I want to sell stuff and become really wealthy and invest. I'm like, then why don't you sell stuff, become really wealthy and invest and drop out of BYU right now? If that's what you want. Now, if you want to become a brain surgeon, you got to finish your degree to be a brain surgeon, because they don't just going to hand you a brain surgeon license and write a check. Maybe they will, but that's not probably a cool
Hopefully
thing.
Not, yeah.
Hopefully not. But if you want to be someone who sells stuff that adds value to people's lives,
start doing it
and invest it. They're not teaching you in college how liquidity pools work in blockchain, or how to earn yield, or how to do diligence on crypto projects correctly. because this is so new. It's real time, right? Like they're not teaching that in school. And by the time they teach you in school, it's going to be outdated info. Just like current AI, right? Or quantum computing. They're not going to teach you that correctly in most classes, right?
Yeah. No, I remember I was in college and some professor brought it up, but we were talking about the 4-year degree, and the studies show that pretty much when you leave college, your first 3 years of information that you've been attaining will be completely outdated. And
here, let me ask you a crazy question. So college, let's say 4 or 5 years, 4 to 6 years, right? For most people, unless you're going for mega degree, right? How much does college cost a year, like for school nowadays? You're young, so maybe you know.
I think I found little loopholes to get my college paid for, so I was actually making money going to
But
college.
how about for most people? Like if they're just writing a check, and they're not a genius or something.
I'm pretty sure it's like somewhere from 5 to 15,000 a semester.
So it's like 40 grand a year.
Yeah.
Here's a crazy thing, and like I got so much hate on the internet for this one, but I'm like, hey, did you know if you put 10 grand in NVIDIA when I was talking about it on Instagram back in 2018, you would have $570,000 today?
Yeah.
So if you had put 40 grand, do the math, you'd have more than a couple $1 million.
Yeah.
Like, and you wouldn't be paying interest on the student loan. So like, you're better off taking that money if you're taking student loans and stuff, or your parents are just going to help you, and think about investing it in good things, you know?
Yeah.
Think about that. Like, it's crazy, you know? So my daughter, she hates it when I won't even go into it, but because the video was about that, and all these people are like, your daughter didn't say that. They're like, is your daughter 7? No, she's like 20, she'd be 25. But she said, hey, Dad, instead of, you know, helping me fund huge amounts of college, or if I ever get married or something, maybe, you know, we could invest that, you know, it might be better. So, yeah, I mean, it's crazy though. And I hope the younger people that are watching this, again, if you're going to college and you have to have that degree to do what you really want to do, that's great though. But if you're studying like, you know, geopolitical liberal arts studies or something garbage like that, it's like, what are you doing, dude? You know, I mean, that's not gonna print you any bank if making money is what you want to do.
Yeah. It's really interesting because everyone does have like their different choices, their different visions and outcomes. And yeah, I think in almost every situation, you're going to be better off having money as one of the top 5 priorities of your life to grow it. And whatever your dream vision is of that, if you've helped grow your money, it's going to help you accomplish your vision, because money is currently the currency of, you know.
If you want to save all the starving children in the world, you're going to need money to feed them.
Yeah.
Build something, help relatives in need, help the homeless people. You're going to have resources. So it usually comes down to those 3 pillars: physical, financial, or spiritual. Right. Yeah. I mean, usually if you take out all the nuances, it's kind of those 3 ingredients, the pyramid of power, right?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where it goes down to. But people like romanticize this. Like, I think that kid who wrote the 10 paragraphs was like, nobody will look at even hiring you unless you have a degree. I'm like, man, my highest paid people, they're like total dropouts, you know, and some have degrees, but most are total dropouts. They're just super energetic, super intelligent, and have great integrity.
Yeah.
And they execute like crazy. You know, yeah.
And I think there's a paradigm shift that's also needed around money and making a lot of money. I think depending on your circumstance of growing up, sometimes people are ingrained with the process and the thought around money is evil. If you make a lot of money, it's evil.
You got to get that out of people. Have to get that out of their head.
I know.
That's a sales interview question. You know, if you're ever hiring salespeople, say, finish the sentence, money is, and if they say root of all evil, not hired. because then they're ingrained in the subconscious
Yeah.
that selling is bad or helping people is bad with anything that makes you money, you know. But as long as it's benefiting the other person and it makes their life better,
Yeah.
that's great. That's what you're offering something to help make their life better, you know? Like for me to pay someone to like do my landscaping is awesome because I'm terrible in the dirt. You know, I'm like not good at it. You know,
I also have a personal belief that you can make a lot of money, and as you're doing that, you like your sourcing of money can be helping a lot of people. As in, you don't need to have a business that has no purpose behind it, like, and also like you can have a business that just brings a joy for something materialistic, or like, but you can build a business that you're impacting a lot of people's lives. And like as an employee, building employees, giving people the life that they want, like what you started with around hiring someone is, you after day one, you find out what is the life that you want to give them, and then you create a plan with them for them to you know conquer what they want in their own life, which is so special.
feels good. Feels good to help people. I mean,
Yeah.
it makes me more happy to see one of my men or women that work with me hit their goal than me hitting even my goals. It just feels like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah, and you strive for that. But
love it.
I think there's just a misconception that work is only to bring money. I think you can bring a lot of fulfillment with work, and you can help a lot of people along the way.
You know, my old saying is do what you hate so you can do what you love.
Mm.
You know, a lot of people like, oh, I got to do my passion. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's like, dude, if you're going to run any sort of business, even if it's your passion, you're going to have to do stuff you hate.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's grind, and you're going to have to do your taxes, and you're going to have to do this, and all these license and fees and banking and blah, 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 and do bookkeeping. It's just, you're going to have to do all of
It's
that.
a part of it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if people think they're going to be an entrepreneur and they're just going to do their passion, you're probably going to spend the majority of your time, at least in the beginning, doing things you really, really, really hate.
Yeah. Well, I want people to be able to have access to you, and so best way for them to find you is
Dan's Millionaire Code, Instagram, blue check.
There we go.
That's the place to go.
And I think this podcast just was thoroughly covered with the importance of doing the hard work, and don't overcomplicate your plans. Don't overcomplicate everything you need to do in your life, but plan and execute. I feel like that's a big piece. And then watch for great opportunities. And I think, Dan, you've showcased very well how people can qualify a good opportunity.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful to have you on. You're doing a lot of great for the world, and it's just if people take advantage of it or not. And so thanks for coming on, and grateful to have you.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.